So here we go. Visto live chat. If you are tuning in live again, thank you very much for joining. If you're watching a recording of this, then you missed out, but that's okay because you can join for free at visto.ai. To join the community, I go live 2-3 times a week, putting out content on Express Entry, the immigration process, finding jobs, IELTS exam, all of that good stuff. So make sure to join. We're going to jump into today's discussion, which is how to connect with Canadian employers. And the reason why I'm doing this chat is because last week I did a talk on the 5 steps to finding a tech job in Canada. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to watch that video or read that blog post. I'll put it in the description. But one of the most important steps from that discussion was actually connecting with employers, right? So what I said in the guide, actually, let me bring it up really quick. I can show you the blurb. The blog post itself is right on visto.ai, how to find a tech job in Canada in 5 steps. And you'll see here that step 4 is to apply to the most qualified roles, right? And so if you want to see the other steps, then make sure to check this out. But what you want to do is, the key to finding a job in Canada, especially as an immigrant, whether you're in the country or not, is you have to make yourself stand out from the crowd, right? So I've heard this firsthand from companies all over the country, HR people, recruiters. When they post a job, especially when they post that it's open to people from outside of the country, they get hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants, right? So the easy question then becomes, how do you stand out in that pile of hundreds, maybe thousands of people? There's a few ways to do it. What we're going to do in this conversation is talk about actually connecting with them and forming another type of relationship that could help, right? There are a few ways. Like, for example, number one, you want to make sure your resume and your cover letter are perfect. Because if they're not, you're just going to get pushed to the bottom of the pile. But that will be a whole other discussion. What I want to do is focus on step 4 here, where I talk about actually connecting with the company on an individual level, right? So let me give a quick example. You see a job posting, whether it be Indeed, wherever company website, you submit your cover letter and your resume, and then you cross your fingers, right? Because at that point, that's sort of all you can do, but it's not actually all you can do. The other thing I'll mention is if you guys do have questions, you can either post them now or save them to the end because I will be doing a Q&A. From Anne, is that the Philippines, PH? Hi Josh, I just moved from the US and I'm a data engineer with 5 years of experience. Oh, you're in Toronto. Awesome, Andy. I am as well. I'm right close to downtown. But if you do have questions, feel free to post them and I will get back to them at the end of the chat. We'll have the live Q&A sessions. Okay, so how do you stand out, right? The way I'm going to focus on for this video is connecting with the individuals that will be making these decisions, right? And so I go into a little bit of detail in this post on how I do it. We're going to go into it a little bit more here. So let's pick a high growth, tech company that's a decent size. I'm just going to use this one because I know that they're hiring for tech. Let's say Kira Systems, okay? And I'm picking them as well because they're in legal tech, which I enjoy, right? So instead of telling you what to do, I'm just going to show you what I would do, and hopefully this will help. So Canadian company, right? This can be any Canadian company. You go to the open job descriptions, you're an engineer, and you're applying for senior software developer, right? So you click here, and you go, and you read it, and you think, oh, this role is a perfect fit for me. And so, where is it here? Oh, here we go, senior software developer. And so you can apply through LinkedIn. Oh, you have to apply through LinkedIn. So you submit your application through LinkedIn, and then what most people do is they'll wait, right? Or they'll apply to 100 other companies in the same way, and they'll wait. But here's what you should do on top of that. Number one is you should make sure that your application is perfect. That kind of goes without saying. Number two, what I would do is you try and creep the people, not creep in a creepy way. You try and find the people who are in charge of making the hiring decisions and connect with them one-on-one to hopefully give yourself a better chance. So you look at the careers page. What I'm trying to do is find a person who works in HR or recruitment. So here's Nandini. She's in sales development. She's a sales development rep, so she's probably not making any hiring decisions. They don't really have the info here on their website. Sometimes they will have pictures or names of the head of HR, head of people, head of talent, whatever it may be, right on their website. And sometimes if you go under company, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but if you go under company, you can find information. So I like to go about the About Us page. Okay, so this is good. Leadership page. You'll see the CEO and the co-founder. CTO. I would mark, if you're applying for a tech job, mark down the CTO. Or what you can do is you can Google him. Again, this can be done for any company. This is just one that was top of mind that I'm picking on the top of my head. Oh, here we go. So Chief Strategy Officer, CFO, Chief Revenue Officer. What we're looking for is like Head of Talent, Senior Vice President People. Here's a good one, Maria Cartagena. Maria, I apologize in advance for this, but this is for the good of the Visto community. So you want to find something like someone to do with people or recruitment or talent, right? So she's probably a good key. Technical and business teams. Okay. So that's pretty much, those are the big names that we're going to find. Next, what you're going to do is, I like to use LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is so powerful for a wide variety of reasons. But here's what I would do is I would go on LinkedIn and I would look up both these people. So we have Maria. It's quite simple. You put her in, you find the Maria. Here we go, Global People and Culture Leader. I believe this is her, but we'll double check. Yeah, Kira Systems. So then what you can do is you can connect with them, right? Now you don't want to just send now. You don't want to just randomly connect for a few reasons. Number one, they're very busy. Number two, if she's head of people, she probably gets a million people trying to add her as well, right? People like you. So you want to add a note, right? You need the note, because otherwise you're not going to stand out and you're just going to be like the same million other people. Yes, from the Philippines. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So what you want to do is you want to add a quick note, right? A couple things to make sure. Spell the first name right. The thing that, now this might be Josh specific, but when people reach out to me and they spell my name wrong, I really don't like it, right? It's not a good way to start. You want to show these people that you're professional. Number one, spell their name right. So you want to make sure it's Maria, and you want to know a little bit about Kira, right? So connect, add a note. Hi, Maria. The other thing you want to keep in mind when sending any of these messages and when creating your cover letter is you don't want to bore them about you. You want to think from their perspective, right? What would help Maria, right? What does Maria want to read? What actually interests her? Or, what is the purpose of all of this? What are the benefits that she can glean from this, right? So in this case, one of the biggest struggles Canadian companies have is finding tech people, right? Finding reliable, loyal tech workers. So you want to appeal to that, right? Because hiring is super important. Hi, Maria. It might be good to put a little courtesy at the beginning. It may not. The reason why it may not for LinkedIn is because you have so few characters to work with. So you could say something like, hope your weekend is going well. I'm reaching out since I took a major interest in Kira and recently submitted an application. What really stood out to me about Kira is that ... right? I'm going to ... this because this is going to depend on the company, and it's going to depend on you, and it's going to depend on the role, right? So now you don't have to use this word for word. This is kind of just general. But a few points that I would want to keep in mind are, number one is you want to mention, so the more that you, like the fact that you mention her name and the company is good, because I can tell right away when someone messages me and it's a copy paste, right? When there's nothing custom, when the wording is clearly super standard, And those messages just don't have as much weight to them. That's why when you write your cover letter, the first paragraph should be very custom to the company. Again, watch my video on the 5 steps to finding a tech job in Canada if you want some more help on that. But at the very beginning, you want to make it very clear that you wrote this message for her, right? Maria, you want to message Kira, and then mention the fact that you already submitted an application. It shows interest. It shows that you took some time. And then you want to show why, right? It's so easy for people to just write, I'm interested in joining your company. I want to join. It looks like a good fit, something like that. You want to go one step further. That's the key to all this. If you want to find a job when a lot of people are having struggles, right? It's going to take a little bit extra effort. So in this case, let's say I was you, what really stood out to me about Kira is that it is a legal tech company, and as someone who has worked in the legal industry before, blah, 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 right? So I'm saying this because I'm a lawyer, and so Kira is really interesting to me because I work in law and they work with contracts, and so there's a lot of overlap, right? So I might say a little bit about how I'm super passionate about the space because of the legal involvement or whatever. Now that's not going to be the case for you. Well, maybe it is. Maybe you have experience working in legal tech or something like that. But the other good thing you can do, what you can do is if you go to the great thing to do is when you go to the About Us page, mark down everything that you can relate to, right? So keep an eye on their mission, see if you have anything, read the bios of some of the founders, or, read Maria's bio as well. Maybe, she worked somewhere or is from the same country as you, or she's passionate about driving the importance of culture. Maybe culture is super important to you. Make some sort of connection there that's going a little bit further, right? So you send her the message. I'm not going to hit send because I don't need to connect with Maria per se. She'd probably be a good connection to have either way, but I don't want to bombard her for no reason. So make sure you're adding people for the right reason. So here, what we'll do is, the other thing is CTO is usually good as well, because ultimately they're likely going, this kind of depends on the size of the company, but the CTO can very well be involved in the hiring process. And so again, it depends on your role and the size of the company. But if you can find the CTO, VP engineering, one of the technical people as well, that might be actually a better way in. The reason for that is if you're working in people or in talent or HR recruitment, you're getting bombarded with messages and stuff like that. And the other thing is they don't necessarily understand the technical side or are going to be evaluating you technically, right? So if you do connect with someone on the technical side of things, CTO, VP engineering, even someone like a team lead or something like that, you might be able to make a better, stronger connection with them or have a closer bond with them and be able to get them to put in a good word and put your resume at the top of the pile. So again, probably take a look at Alex's background. Maybe you went to the same school. Maybe you had a previous job title that was the same. He doesn't really have a bio written out, but maybe there's a bio that has something that connects well with you. And you can do the same thing, right? Connect, add a note. You probably want to change the blurb a little bit. Hey, Alex, just wanted to reach out because I've really admired the work that you did at Kira, building this, that, and the other. I don't know anything about tech, so you guys are probably better than I am at explaining how impressive the piece of technology is that they built, or software, or anything like that. So that's another thing you can do. Also try to connect with the CTO, VP of engineering. Now, how can you find these people, right? So let's say that the website wasn't very good, right? Because you will go to some tech startup websites that won't have the whole team fleshed out like that, or it won't have, it won't show a VP of talent or whatever. It's super easy again on LinkedIn, right? You type in the company. I typed in Kira Systems. Here they are. See all 201 employees on LinkedIn, right? So now I've hit my limit. So I do a lot of searching on LinkedIn, as you can tell. So I can't actually see all 200, but as long as you're not searching like crazy, or if you want to upgrade to premium, you can see every single person who works at the company. Then all you really have to do is, so like, look, you could even try connecting with the CEO. I don't know if he would accept our connections, but maybe he would. What you want to do here is go to all filters, and then what you can do is you can search by title, right? So now you can type in here. Now the key is using or is super powerful in LinkedIn. So let's say you were looking for recruitment people, you could type in talent or human resources or people, and then hit apply. And so look, I can't see all of them again because I'm locked out. I've hit my monthly limit. But already, here's Maria, here's the director human resources, and here's a senior talent acquisition specialist. These are three people, and again, you would have more if you weren't like me, capped out on the monthly limit. You can connect with all of them and send them all a custom message. The other thing you can do is you can, instead of targeting the recruitment people, again, you can type in engineer or software or lead, something like that, and hit apply. And now here's a software engineer, here's a software development manager, here's a software engineer. So software engineers may not, it might still, it depends like how many companies you're applying to, how much time you have. If you really like one company, it could be worth reaching out to some of the devs and engineers and just saying, hey, I've applied to your company, I'm really interested, this is why I'd be a good fit, and maybe or even just ask, what's it like working there, right? And you can start that personal conversation. Hey, so instead of sounding spammy and hey, you don't want to write, hey, Shu, can you get me a job there? You want to write, hey, I'm a software engineer. I recently applied to Kira. It's super interesting. I wonder if you enjoyed your working experience there. I'd love to hear more about it. And if you build that one-on-one relationship, maybe even set up a phone call, then they could be in a position to put in a good word for you. So those are kind of my keys to what to do on top of applying, right? So the resume and the cover letter are kind of standard. It depends on the company, what they want. But if you do these things above and beyond, especially for the companies you're super interested in, create these personal connections, whether it be with people in HR or recruitment, people in leadership roles in tech, or even people in roles that you're looking to get, right? If you can make that connection with them, maybe even set up a phone call or a coffee or a Skype chat if you're not in the same country, build a little relationship, build a little friendship, and they might be able to push you in the right direction. Because recruiters will take into consideration the fact that a software engineer in their office is recommending someone. So that's it for my spiel today. I'm going to open up the floor to questions and answers. Thank you to all those who tuned in live. If you are watching the video after the fact, make sure to sign up, www.visto.ai, totally free to join the community. And I do these videos 2 to 3 times a week. Especially, I think a lot of these job search ones are pretty cool, pretty fun to talk about. So thanks again for watching, and we're going to turn it over to the Q&A.